In the past, humans worshipped cats. We still remember this.
Guys, welcome to Crafted. Oh, I was hearing that again in the past, real loud in my ears from my monitor over here. Welcome everybody to a special episode of Crafted, and I played the Rat Cross, but tonight we have Dr. Ted, and he's off stage getting a special guest, a special guest, and
Hey, Judy. Hey, Ed, how are you?
Oh my gosh! Hello.
So good to see you, Ed.
Is that Joe, the original?
I'm over here. I heard Ted is speaking, so I just had to come here. I'm the special G.I. Joe Adventure Fish nerd. Hold on a second.
Very cool. You know what is such an advantage for you is you can catch a molly, and it's like us catching a tuna.
Well, with this Kung Fu grip, it comes in handy when you live alone. Also for holding a fish net. There's many, many uses for it.
And it looks like you have a badge, so you can do anything you want.
Wait, hold on. You want to? Yeah. I would. Oh, okay. Ed, hold on. I'm actually coming in here. This guy takes up all of the screen time. I tell you here. He takes up so much screen time. So, Ed, I know that you're a G.I. Joe fan.
Yes.
And so you're from the G.I. Joe, you're from the third generation G.I. Joe action figures, I think, right?
The three and a half
Great American Hero version. So my older brother had the original G.I. Joes, which were all the military theme. Then Vietnam heated up, and all the mothers didn't want to buy those, so they came out with the G.I. Joe Adventure Team. You remember that? So the G.I. Joe Adventure Team dolls, action figures. They had, as you know, the brown-haired one with the lifelike hair and beard. That was the Land Adventurer. The red-headed guy was the Sea Adventurer. The blonde-haired guy was the Air Adventurer. This was a special limited edition for nerdy kids like me. This was the Fish Room Adventurer, G.I. Joe.
Nice.
He came with his own brine shrimp net and Achilles spawning mop. You see, he could hold it in his Kung Fu grip. You see that? It was awesome. So handy. The G.I. Joe. And I want to show you some of the accessories this came with. This is very rare. They sold only 3 units. And you can imagine why,
for
right?
One of those.
Well, I know. You can see why they only sold, 3 units, right? I mean, who is going to buy this? But, all these G.I. Joes came with their own, little adventure play sets. We had the Secret of the Mummy's Tomb and everything else. This one came with the G.I. Joe Find the Smell in the Fish Room Adventure Kit. So I want to show you what that came with. That came with he came with his own little tank, you see, with like a little goldfish in it. Let me see if I can get this over here. You see, it's got the little goldfish in the tank right there. That's good right there. Nice. All right. And he came with his own sponge filter, little G.I. Joe mini sponge filter. And it came with its own whiteworm culture. So, he had to hunt down the smell. So you could see why the parents didn't really want to buy this. But, his own Achilles spawning mop. This was great. They put these in a landfill with all the E.T. Atari video games. And
oh my gosh, I hated that game.
I got one. So, here he is. We're going to keep him up here tonight somewhere. Let's put him right over here tonight. He's going to, but
that's awesome.
The Kung Fu grip comes in handy, There he goes. Okay.
Now I know why you changed the subject whenever I brought that up.
I had a Steve Austin doll that was our action figure that was like that size.
The Atomic Man.
Look through his head. Yeah.
That was the Atomic Man. That was the ripoff on the $6 million man that they came out with.
But it was fun.
It was G.I. Joe Mike Powers, the Atomic Man, where you could look through his eyeball. Yeah, any type of gimmick. So,
but my sister would always steal them so that way her Barbies would have somebody to date.
Wait. You know, I'm glad. Hold on. What? I know that you want to tap Malibu Barbie, and it's Saturday night, and it's Thursday night, but you gotta wait. Okay. God.
You have a skipper,
Well, okay. So that's
Barbie's little sister.
that's nothing I want to watch. So why don't we change that subject?
Well,
We,
you know, Dr. Ted, thank you for coming on the show. So
my
we can
pleasure,
say
Ed.
Ted and Ed and Whip and Skip. I finally have something
Wow.
to rhyme with.
Ted and Ed and Whip and Skip. It either sounds like a bunch of fish guys or a Japanese male porn movie. I don't know which one.
I love the way your mind works.
I really hope it's the former because, you know, it is YouTube and we don't want you to get demonetized again, you know, so.
Oh my!
I
But
know.
anyway.
That's the last thing I want.
What is everybody drinking tonight?
I
Gatorade.
have Tennessee sweet tea.
Oh, yeah. So you are regionally apropos.
And you know, I got hooked on it when I moved here. I never
Where did
drank
you come
tea.
from originally, Ed?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No,
A lot of very good aquarists at the Missouri Aquarium Society there. Some of the best in the business.
he doesn't
Mike.
claim. He doesn't claim Illinois anymore.
Well, I did Illinois for high school in
Oh,
college.
okay.
And I had a business there too. I had a photography studio for about 8 years in Illinois too. So
Oh, wow.
I guess I was in Illinois for a decade and a half at least.
Really? What
yeah.
part of Illinois?
Wait,
Columbia, Illinois. It's right on the other side of the river from St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
So it's southern Illinois. And then
So,
I also
Mhm.
grew up until junior high. Well, like all my elementary years were in Kansas City. I was born in St. Louis. My
Mhm.
dad transferred to Kansas City. Then they transferred the base back to St. Louis. So we ended up back in St. Louis. So that's how I back in.
Oh, wow. So St. Louis, you've probably enjoyed some wonderful summers. Always nice and cool and not sweaty or
Oh.
humid. Yeah.
Yeah, I was always
Perfect. Just beautiful weather.
I was always an hour or about a mile from the Mississippi or the Missouri my whole life.
Right.
So all the floods and then the humidity and the deer that
Yeah.
would bloat and smell,
Sure.
that's just good old
During the summer,
time.
like if you guys get a 2 mile per hour wind, everyone goes out in the street and celebrates. Because
It's horrific.
I am drinking Zevia Cola from the folks at Zevia, ladies and gentlemen. I'm drinking a black cherry here.
Black cherry would be my choice.
It would be.
I am drinking coffee with a lot of vodka.
Well, now there's a man who has his priorities set right. So I am going to toast you, Whip, to Whip. Everyone drink. So, all right. So we have to have some type of drinking game. Anytime a certain word is mentioned, we all have to drink. What will that word be tonight?
Let's see.
Ed?
Trying to get Whip drunk.
Why don't you pick the word, Ed? And if that word is ever said, we all have to drink.
How about summer?
If anyone says summer, we
Summer.
got to do it. So our goal is to get Whip completely liquored up and plastered by the end of the evening. So use
And he has a
summer in
show
every
right
other
after
word
this.
Yeah, right.
because that'll make a good video stream. You'll have so many repeats. You'll be,
It was so good when I did it for Big Rich over at Ohio Fish Rescue. He put it on private.
I don't think I've ever heard
Off
of
it.
vodka in coffee.
I didn't either until I did, and it doesn't stink.
I didn't
Until
either
5
until I
minutes ago.
tried it, and it worked out well. So.
Hey, one more.
We Whip, we should make that the official Saturday night guitar jam clash drink. Coffee with vodka.
Yeah, there you go.
It'll keep us up.
Or whiskey.
singing.
You can do whiskey. I've done whiskey too, but vodka's
Oh
better.
yeah. I know people put bourbon in coffee. A little splash.
Yep. or 2 or 3 or 4.
or 4.
Yeah.
Depending on how many fish have died. So.
Dee and
So
Denny.
I still have to get used to the medium. So guys, please interrupt me because I know that we have the live feed going on, which I'm looking at you through StreamYard to try to get real time. So I can't monitor the live feed. So feel free to interrupt and address
they're not
because I
saying
really
anything
don't want to
important.
take away from all the people who are chatting and bringing up things and trying to insult me. So it's important that we get those out in the
It's
open.
mostly just people saying hello so far.
Yes.
Dr.
Hello,
Ted, why don't
everyone.
we let-
Skip needs to say hellos
Yeah.
here before we get too far deep.
Well, we'll hear who all's watching through Skip.
Well, hold on a second. Let me actually let me get my phone. Let me do a Jeff Pelham. Let me get my magnifying glass
Oh,
and see who's going here. Oh wow, so
I love that
so
you know who Jeff is. That's awesome.
Jeff is awesome. I actually did his live feed. I took a nap during the day because I'm old now, right? And I can't fall asleep. And Jeff does these live feeds at like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'm up, and I went on and I showed my fish room, and I had a great time with him. He's so knowledgeable, and he's unflappable. So I'm a big Jeff fan. Dee Dee is here. Hello, Dee Dee. And Steven is here. Oh, Steven's here. Well, it was a good night, but we'll try to make the best of it.
Hey, Cheryl.
Jody is here. Jody, did you make cake for us? No, Jody, you had one job. You had one job, Jody, to make cake. Did you do it? No.
On top of the 77 other jobs she had.
Yeah,
I
but
had a gross cake
hey,
today.
wait. Whip, what about our needs, right? Our needs come first.
Oh, I get you. I mean,
There
we
should
should
have
go
been
first.
cake shipped to all of us.
Clearly.
Jody, you had one job. Zen Ginger is here.
Ted, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's
Hello,
that?
ladies in.
Zen Ginger's here. Cheryl is here. Ed, you guys call yourselves the Tennessee Fish Mafia. There's so many accomplished women aquarists. We have to give them like a nice title. So we have to ask them to come up with a name.
There was
Well-
they had one for a while and then they kind of fell apart.
Well, I kind of have one I'm creating. And Zen Ginger is like the head madam of the crowd. And
That's
they're
true.
the
Hey,
Zendicate.
Rorschach.
The Zendicate for
Zindicat.
Zen. But we have some girls in our group too. So we have
Nancy B.
Nancy
Nancy
B.
B.
Yes.
and Killer Kitty
Yep.
and
Killer Kitty.
Oinky are all on the Tennessee Fish Mafia side.
I
We got
know
a couple.
Crystal very well. Crystal is one of my
Yeah, she's
favorite
awesome.
acquarists. I met her. I met her years ago at the Clash, and then she doesn't. She lives just over the border from me. So we were talking about fish clubs and other things like that. You also have there's Foxy. She's
Yep.
one of the.
And Dee Dee.
Dee Dee is like a force of nature. Dee Dee, a little fun fact about Dee Dee, she once shot a man just to watch him die. A lot of people don't know that about Dee Dee. So,
wouldn't
you
surprise
have to be careful around her.
Oh, I have a G.I. Joe special edition Canadian edition. I've got Sandy Doherty and Red Laser action figures that I've made.
You have, but do you have the G.I. Joe nerdy fish guy with the Kung Fu grip holding the spawning mop and the brine shrimp net? That's what I want to know. Underneath, he's wearing a mini Whips World thong. So
I think we're going to make one, and we're going to name him Dr. Ted as his code name.
So do you make custom G.I. Joes, Ed?
Oh, yeah. That's what
that's
I
awesome.
love doing.
That's awesome.
Let's see. Do you know Big Steve and Dennis?
Show me some.
This is Dapper Dennis.
I
from
love
the
it.
Clash who broke his hip.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome.
Here, I thought I was grabbing Steve, but I actually grabbed me.
I love it.
Here's Big Steve.
Wow.
Big Steve's really big.
Oh
Let's
man,
see.
I love it. What else you got?
Here's Rico.
Rico Stan. I really miss him, and I have to. I hope he comes to the Clash again.
I think he's coming to the Clash.
Oh, he will be. He'll be there. I just talked to him yesterday.
He's
I was hoping he'd come up because he loves you so much, but he
He
just
is-
doesn't feel too good.
he is one of my
Can you
favorite.
guess who that is?
Hold on, get a little closer. That looks like a guy who I sold heroin to back in '87.
He just left. That was Whip.
That's not what.
Speaking of, he went to go get his stash.
You've got to get. I mean, that's.
See,
but
look
that's.
at that hair I made. Isn't that
But
amazing
that-
hair?
But that's Whip with like sunglasses, though. That's like Breaking Bad Whip.
Well, that's motorcycle Whip.
That's definitely biker Whip, right? Fish room
Like-
Whip. Instead of having sunglasses, he has those big magnifying glasses to look at the fish. So anyone who just came in late to the feed, if you go to the beginning, you'll see the GI Joe Fish Nerd Adventure Kit, the entire kit. So when you look at the live broadcast, if you go back, you can see it. We've got some fun stuff there. That
Hey, when
only
you-
sold 3 units, so.
Skipper must be on the wall in the other room because he's not up here.
What? Skip,
Yep.
aren't you insulted by that? I would be.
Nah, I expect that by now.
Well, I
I would
just got him a new
definitely-
hat.
I would definitely have your people speak to Ed's people and, redo the contract because that's totally
Yeah.
unacceptable.
People are Ed's people.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to put ex-hitman beside my name now.
Make sure, Skip, you get that done this summer. This summer, guys. Summer. Ed,
Oh,
summer.
Summer.
That is the word tonight. We say summer, and we all drink because Whip is drinking coffee with vodka, and we want to see him get liquored up by the end of the show. So,
And I need to be hydrated.
Not to change the
You
subject.
please, go ahead.
Dr.
I will
Ted,
go off on tangents all night with you. So please, Ed, direct us into a more from the ridiculous to the sublime. Ed, go ahead.
Well, you have changed my life. Well, I don't know if you've changed my life, but you've made my life more enjoyable. And I
Yes,
didn't even know it was you.
well, Ed, I have because that time that you and I buried that hooker in Kentucky 7 years ago, that really changed our lives.
That was
completely. We just haven't been the same since, have we? No, I'm sorry, Ed.
Good time.
Ed, how have I possibly changed your life? That is completely ridiculous.
Well, okay, I dug my first pond, I think in like 85 or 84.
That's where
And-
we put the hooker. I knew it. It's
I was only 10 though, so I don't know what was going on.
Hey,
I was 11. I was 11.
okay. So
Good.
you dug your first pond
Yeah.
in Tennessee.
Scotty.
We made it from concrete. It was a concrete pond. My
Oh,
dad,
that's
it
like
was in
Beverly
Kansas City.
Hillbillies. That's like
Yep.
those, cement swimming pools.
And my dad said I had to have it at least 4 feet deep,
Yes,
or
that's
so it wouldn't
actually
freeze.
that's the old school way of doing ponds. They would do a concrete pond. They would cure it, right? Because you had to cure it to get all the lime out. That's way cool, actually.
That was a long time ago, and
That's
like,
way
but it was
cool.
real neat because like we'd make ledges and stuff, so we could put things on the ledges.
Exactly. That's
It was a
awesome.
lot of fun. But so that was my first experience. But in St. Louis, I had a little pond and a lake in my backyard, but I
Mhm.
never thought about tubbing. And when I hurt my back and moved to Tennessee, I heard so many people talking about tubbing.
Yes.
And I thought, this sounds pretty fun.
Yes.
So I started with 2, and now I have 10. And I love them to
Mhm.
death. They're so much fun. And I'm literally
Yes.
gonna be going to the fish store or the pond store tomorrow and buying my plants for them for this season.
That's great. So you see, I didn't change your life. You breaking your back changed your life.
Yeah. But you've enjoyed, or you made something enjoyable in my life since I broke.
Thank you for that empty compliment. I think we're done. I'm leaving. I'm going to bring GI Joe back. No,
Well,
no. I've
and
been. I've
I'm gonna
been.
plug your book.
Well, thank you. That's very, very kind of you.
This book is amazing, guys, and it's all color too. I mean,
It's
you
all
have color
yeah.
photos through the whole thing.
Yes.
It's really easy to get through. And it's only, you know what? I even
$20.
did something.
It's $20.
Yeah. Check that out.
Yeah.
$20 on Amazon.
Yeah, we're in the 3rd edition now. I think that the helpful thing about the 3rd edition, Ed, is that we put a plant glossary in the back and a tub fish glossary in the back. And it tells you exactly, and it tells you exactly how to keep the fish and plants for tubs. So it's tub specific. How deep do the plants go? What is the low temperature range for the fish? You know, a lot of people don't know when you keep your tropical fish outside, they can go much lower without whacking out versus in the fish room. So all the fish and plants have been tested by me over multiple seasons or close friends of mine before they go into the book. If they're not easy and they don't do well, they don't go in the book. And there's a section on shade plants because I know a lot of people have that problem too. But there's some. No, I've been, and Ed, thank you for your kind words. I've been evangelizing about this for 27 years now. So I first heard about tubbing before we had YouTube and before the internet. There was CompuServe, which was CompuServe and America Online were the first internet web type browsers. They were private. And there was a thing called Fishnet. That was in the early 90s. I was in my early 20s. Karen Randall was on there, a bunch of people. And that's how people communicated online at first. And someone said, yeah, I put white clouds outside of my rain barrel and they bred. I'm like, wait, you put your aquarium fish outside? What? You can't do that. Don't you know they were born and evolved in tanks? So in the late 90s, I started putting the fish out. And I realized no one else, there was a few people in my club doing it. You know, back then it was magazines. We didn't have YouTube. We had either Fish Club magazines or 3 major aquarium magazines. No one was writing about it. And I started doing it. It's a few old timers did it, and I learned from them. And then I started to write about it because I was writing for Tropical Fish Hobbies magazine and Freshwater and Marine Aquarium magazine back in the day. And I started doing speaking engagements on it. And more people started doing it. And then YouTube came, and a lot of people who saw my talks to do. So I'm very happy. Everyone does it now. People aren't scared to do it. And I really encourage you to do it. It's the best thing I do at my hobby. Hands down, by far. The most fun thing I do at my hobby is I clean out my fish room and I bring it outside.
Yeah, it's so neat.
Where are you at again, Dr. Ted? You're up there in the Maine area, right?
I'm up in northwest New Jersey. So
New Jersey.
The New Jersey is like 3 different geographies. The northwest part of the state is all the mountains and lakes and rivers. It supplies 2/3 of the drinking water to the state. It's not the Tony Soprano, New Jersey that you kind of see. So I'm up in this part of neck of the woods, a little higher elevation. I deal with bear and raccoon and all that stuff. So
I have a buddy that lives in Upper New York that's very similar, very mountainous. He had a bear in his garbage the other day. So.
Yeah, it's all where the Great Wisconsin Glacier dumped its crud and carved out the lakes and the Ramapo Mountains and the Poconos, and then retreated. So that's where I'm, stuck at.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Not
country.
A bad place to be stuck.
No, it's actually a nice part of the state. I actually like it here very much. I'm about an hour from Manhattan, and I'm about 2 hours to Philadelphia. So I'm right in the middle. A lot of Revolutionary War battles, more more Revolutionary War battles were fought in New Jersey than any other state, right? So there's a lot of historic things. And where I am, there's a lot of open space. The eastern part of the state is blacktopped. And I think when they saw that, they started buying open space. So right behind my backyard is a 600-acre wetland forest that's been protected. So I've got a little privacy, but, I've got about 30 tubs outside. And I got a small fish room that I'm sitting in now.
Do you? I assume you bring them back in come winter, or at least most of them.
Well, after the summer.
Oh, summer. We're a little slow here.
So there's when you bring them back in, what I like to do, Whip, is your fish can really stay out a lot longer than you think. So you got to really research the minimum temperature. I keep my fish out. I'm in zone 6. So if you go to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, you'll see what your planting zone is. And that tells you, the zone tells you how cold you get during the winter. So I'm in zone 6. Tennessee, I think, is also zone 6, Ed, if I'm not mistaken. And so what I do.
I'm actually in the one below because I'm right on the Georgia border.
Oh, so you're in zone 7 or like 8. So you have a nice long season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to your question, Whip, what I do is I will keep my fish out until the water temperature, not the air temperature. That's key. The water temperature hits their minimum level for that particular species of fish. And then I will go to my phone. I'll look at the weather app. And if it's going to maintain that temperature for the next week, I'll just keep them out. If the cold spell is coming, I pull them. And that's when I bring them inside here. And when I bring them inside, what's that?
Do you leave your tanks empty, I assume? Because
yeah,
my issue
much.
is if I tub anything, I'm in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's a like you, it's a fairly short summer.
Right.
And if they have a lot of babies or whatever, I haven't done this yet. So I bought your book. It's on its way. And I'm going to try it. But I haven't even started them yet because like today I don't even think it got to 50.
Yeah, but I would say, so let's just circle back. So startup is a different question. So just to finish your question, first of all, or bring them inside, a very important point. I will fill up the tank with tub water completely because the tub water, after being out there all summer, and your fish are going to look fabulous. They will look like nothing you've ever seen before. They'll be the healthiest, most colorful fish you've ever seen. But that tub water is going to be so dramatically different from a chemical composition than your tap water or fish room water. So I'll fill up their tank completely with their tub water. And then over a week, I will acclimate them to my tap water. And that's real important for juvenile and babies because they're the ones who are the most sensitive. Godiads are also very sensitive to this. So if you do that, you're good to go. And that would be my recommendation for bringing them in. Now, you said about starting.
2 drinks.
Oh.
There's a quick question for you, Ed.
Oh, okay.
Because somebody was trying, sorry, Ted, but somebody's trying to give you a super chat and their stickers, and it's turned off. You never turned it back on yet.
No, I've seen it. I've seen it on.
No, that's membership milestones. Which you got one from Night Owl Aquatics, member for 6 months. Did somebody say summer? Happy summer.
Oh, that's 2 more.
Well, gosh,
you
was
got a
just
super chat last week, didn't you?
I don't know. I think I just got a membership, but
That's
I needed $6 so I would get paid this month. So that's what I told Skipper, and I was like, I hope somebody gives me a.
Would someone please? Can someone please tip Ed right now? Just.
Well, they can't.
Well, turn it on.
They can't, I guess.
It.
Oh
So,
boy, I've got to figure out.
This is awful. Jody doesn't send us cakes. People aren't doing memberships. The thing isn't working. Dogs and cats sleeping together. Mass hysteria. What's going on? What is going on?
You know what you could do?
This is almost like an event managed by Scotty Schmidt. I mean, what is going on here?
You know what? I'm gonna have to have somebody tell me how to do it again because I don't know how to
Just-
reset it up.
You people, if you instead of a super chat, Zenny,
I'm
do it.
sorry.
Buy memberships. Buy memberships. That'll work too, or it
Oh.
should. Oinky.
Hey, sweetheart. She's watching 4 movies today.
Hi,
Shut
Crystal.
up.
Crystal, I miss you. I hope everything is well with you.
Hey, Rack.
And GI Fishroom Joe says hi to you. There he goes.
You got
I'm
gifted
working
5
on it, Chris.
You got gifted 5 memberships. You got gifted 5
Oh.
memberships from Big Steve and 1 from myself. So you made your $6.
Oh, thank you, guys.
You got
guys
Uncle
rock.
Smiley, Jeff Kane, Budget Bonsai, Monster Fish Gal.
Think of all the sweet teas Ed could buy now. He'll
Yeah.
be so caffeinated.
Well,
Boots Cats and Larry D.
Your Ed, I'm predicting your A1C will be like 200 after that's done. Then. It'll be
now is that's a diabetic term?
yes.
Yes.
I have to my blood term is NIR, or it's my blood thickness that I always have to check once a week.
You have overly abundant platelets.
Well, I have to give myself warfarin because I have the artificial heart valve.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
That's
a
that is
pain.
a wonder drug.
It drives me nuts because it never stops ticking. It's ticking in my ear right now. It sounds like a watch. Oh, but now I don't know how to get back to the show.
Well, anyone who came
There
in
we
late,
go.
you
Thank
missed
you,
all
guys.
this fun in the first half hour. So you have to go back and do the replay and make sure you press that like button and do the replay and send messages to Jody for not making cake for everyone. Those are the 3 things you need to do tonight. And don't piss
I
off
have a
Jody.
Jody action figure upstairs too.
And why isn't Skip's action figure here? You had one job. So
Yeah.
I mean, poor,
No. Here's Sandy Doherty.
I love it.
She's the Canadian sniper.
I love it.
And she drives a bus in Toronto, so her code name is Bus Stop.
Is she a member of the Durham Region Aquarium Society up there in Toronto?
I don't know.
That's a really
she
good
normally
club.
is working during the show
Yeah.
and watches the following day. So
Okay, that's
we'll
a
have to
very
see
good
what she
club.
says.
My friend Derek Tustin runs that club up in Toronto. It's a very good club.
That's awesome. Well, since we went over 100, how about Skipper? Could you set up a thing where I can order one of these for somebody? Now, what I'll do is I'll buy it off of Amazon and send it directly from their house. So that way I don't have to pay shipping. But you have to send your address to Skipper before the show, before Whip show is over
Right.
tonight.
Or you could send it
That
to
way,
me.
Right.
or send it to him.
And,
And then
I would,
Whoever you happen to have.
and I
and
would highly recommend, guys, if anyone has run out of Ambien or other sleep medication, that book fills in nicely. So it has a dual purpose.
I thought for sure you were going to say the show. I thought for sure.
No, this show's
I felt
fun.
it coming in my bones.
A lot of people might not know this, but Whip has a wonderful singing voice. So Whip has a pretty decent, between him and the smooth golden fog baritone of Rickistan, that Clash jam we do sounds just awesome. So
I set up a giveaway. That's what you
You
wanted,
did.
right?
Awesome.
Oh my
Yes.
God, Jenny!
So
How about
here's the thing. The hashtag is summer.
summer?
You better go get the bottle, buddy.
I'm gonna have to go get the bottle.
I cannot wait to hear Whip talk by the end of the show. It's going to be awesome.
And I hate to say this, but I don't know if I can send to Canada. I don't know if my Amazon Prime is only America.
People have ordered it. I have sent books to Canada. There
Well-
might be extra shipping. If you come to the Clash, you can just pick it up there from me directly, and I'll sign it for you. So,
and you can buy, if you guys are in England and you're watching right now and you're saying, well, I'd like to learn about tubbing, you can buy the book in England. But did you know you've got a 4.8 rating on Amazon, and your
Yes.
only 1-star person is a British person?
is a British person who complained that the things were not related to her planting zone. And she's wrong. It's actually like the same. It's like
It's exactly the same.
I use centimeters too. I did centimeters and inches. But hey, haters gotta hate, right?
Yep.
You
Yep.
know.
There's
I was-
always one in the crowd.
See, it's
Yeah,
blue, and look,
that's
blue.
that's fine. It really
Hey, Alishan.
it really does not matter. Alishan is here, also known
my
as
gosh.
Master of Fish, Tom Gillooly, Master of Fish. If there is a fish question or a scientific name needed tonight, we go to him directly. Okay,
He might be one of the smartest fish people I know, or people in general, for that matter.
Whip, do you want to hear a fun fact about Alishan, Master of
Sure.
Fish Tom? He was the first person in the United States, possibly the world, to breed the zebra pleco. Now, I don't know if you
I didn't
remember
know
when
that.
if you remember when the zebra plecos were introduced, like circa 2000, they were all the rage, right? No one had ever seen a fish like this. They were going for like $800 a pop. Tom got a hold of a pair. People were trying to breed them thinking they were algae eaters. No, they're actually carnivores. So Tom was the first guy to breed them. And I think he supported his whole fish room for 5 years from that one strain. So,
I could have bought a house.
so Tom is Tom is very modest, so I have to give him some props. But I'm also realizing Skip is kind of like the mastermind of this whole operation. He's setting up all the different things here, and he does all that, but he doesn't have an action figure. Skip, you should go on strike like the air traffic controllers. I want Skip on strike, and you see how far this guy gets without you.
Well, Skipper, say something, and I'll run in the other room.
Well, he does. Whenever I'm not here, he gets whipped. So
that's not much better than
So when you're not here, he gets whipped. Is that on the adult channel or is that on this channel? 'Cause that's a different type of live stream. That's like
a whole different game there.
That's like fans only type stuff. So
yeah, I know, right?
we really don't want to go there.
Gucci,
So
There,
Did you
do
see?
that.
Did you see Rack's question?
Yeah, I was about to. Yeah, you got a
Hit
question,
him.
Dr. Ted. You got a
Sure,
question.
please.
Oh.
And look,
There he is. There
Skipper
he
always
is.
wears rubber gloves so he doesn't get blood on himself when he's beating people up.
No. That's
And no
for when he
fingerprints.
buries a hooker. You got to wear the rubber gloves so you don't get the fingerprints. But anyway,
And he was sitting in front of this motorcycle.
I used to
you're
have.
also a biker, Skip?
I used to.
Wow, I
So-
didn't realize how nice Skipper's shoes were.
Yeah, he's total bling.
Yeah, he is.
We got to call him Skip Bling.
Well, I can't wait to make a Dr. Crazy Ted.
No, please don't. Please don't, Ed. I'll
It's
send
happening now.
Right
you
now,
as
I'm
many
planning-
books as you want.
I'm
Whip,
right
you
now,
said
I'm planning on bringing them all to the Clash and setting them up in my booth.
Well, yeah, you actually could bring some books, and I will sign them. But Scotty told me that if I sign them Scotty Schmidt, I have to charge $50. I don't know why he said that, but that's kind of one of his, one of the things he told me to do. So I want to be compliant. Whip, you said that there was a question from our wonderful live chat people here tonight who've been so patient with my going off on tangents.
So you got a question from Budget Bonsai, which is Rack.
Oh,
His question is there
He's
an
awesome.
updated book? Is there an updated book in the pipeline?
Well, the book,
This one's
book is the book is the third edition, third revision, and it was revised last spring. So that is the latest one that you'll get, edition 3, revision 3. Will there be an update? Probably next spring, and the updates usually mean I'm adding more plants and more fish. But what I also do is when I talk to people like you or people at the Clash or other hobbyists, I talk to them what they're doing with their tubs. If they have a neat idea, I will try it out. If it works, I put it in the book and I mention their name in the book. So if when you go through the book, like you'll see my friend Sue Harkey's name in there. You'll see some other people's names there because other people are coming up with a lot of ideas. You know, I hate it, guys. I don't know about you, but one thing that chaps my ass here in the hobby when people said there's just one way of doing something.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
There's never one way. I mean, the reason this hobby is fun is because what works for one person fails for someone else. You don't know why, and it's so much creativity. So you know, so that's one thing I try to do with the book. When I hear new ideas, I try to I'll put them in there. You know,
every year I make several pond videos or tubbing videos.
yeah.
And I try something different every year. And
Right.
the thing that this was the thing that I did last year that was probably my favorite thing
What's
was
that?
I painted all the bottoms of my tubs white.
Oh, that's a neat idea. Now, what type of
Well-
paint did you use that was stable in water and didn't release volatile organic chemicals?
You have to use Krylon
Danny
Fusion.
Krylon. Oh, and that's actually waterproof.
Yeah, you can put it underwater and because it's basically
Seriously?
almost a plastic.
Wow.
Yep, that's what I
Really?
do. Just about half of my watercrafts are Krylon Fusion.
Because I've met a friend in St. Louis when I spoke at the AGA convention last April, where he used Krylon to paint the outside of his stock tanks because it's hard to make a stock tank look anything better than a stock tank. And he painted it so his wife would let him have more tubs, and it worked. She let him have more tubs. I'm like, that's brilliant. But I didn't know you could use that underwater as well. That it's for marine
Krylon
applications. Krylon
The Fusion.
Fusion. I love that idea. That's going in the next edition.
Yeah,
And
and
you haven't
makes
seen
it easy.
any, but you haven't seen any ill effects with fry because often what happens, just like with people, you know, chemicals in the water affect the juveniles in the fry more than the adults. Have you
Summer.
been able to get just as healthy fish spawn?
Summer.
Have your fish
Yeah, I
been
didn't-
spawning just fine that way?
yeah, I didn't have any. Now, I'll be honest, all I do is guppies.
Okay,
So there's
that's
no
fine.
like egg scatters or anything like that.
Yeah, no,
But I
that's,
mean,
that's
I
fine.
did find, you know, I had tadpoles and
Mhm.
all sorts of larvae and everything else in there. But it made
Wow.
it so easy for catching the fish at the end of the year.
Yeah.
You take all your plants out and you can see the bottom. Because I used to just put a white plate on
Yes.
the bottom of and I'd catch them as they'd swim over the white plate.
Right. That's the
I
hardest
turned the
part
whole
when the
thing white.
That's a great
It's all
idea.
amazing.
I was going to ask you how that worked out because I was
Yeah.
afraid. I was afraid that it was going to be, you know, if you put something outside, algae goes freaking crazy, right? So
Right, it starts.
I was
to coat
afraid
it,
that
yeah.
even though you painted it white, it was going to turn green anyway. So I didn't. I was wondering how that actually turned out.
Well,
for you.
I start every season with about 6, and all my tubs are 110 gallon tubs. I
The-
start off
Mhm.
with 6 water hyacinth in every one, just about. There was one I did water lettuce, and I used mosaic plants also last year.
Of course.
And
right.
you know what?
Mhm.
I was going to do mosaics again this year, and I'm not going to because I forgot, and I was brushing up on your book again, so I
Yeah.
could ask you anything. Well, and you talked about predators and stuff, and you talked about raccoons, and the raccoons they like grabbed my mosaics and
Yes,
pulled all the little
They
things
will.
right
They
off.
will pull them out. So you have to use some of. So the book has a whole section of deterrents to make it uncomfortable for them to go to your tub, and then of course, you know, trapping them is the most efficacious way. But there are ways to get them out. There's a whole bunch of different ways that I use because we do have a raccoon problem. So just to let you know, here in the state of New Jersey, we have 3 animals that are considered nuisance animals, which means that they are in such abundance that you are allowed to eliminate them from the ecosystem within your local laws. Like if you're driving on the street and a raccoon crosses, you can hit it without getting prosecuted. You can't do that with mice or anything. One guy went to jail for shooting a rat once. So those 3 nuisance animals in the state of New Jersey are number 1, raccoons, number 2, groundhogs, number 3, any cast member of Jersey Shore or the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Those are the 3 nuisance animals that if you see them on the road, and I won't tell you which 2, I've bonked off onto the sidewalk. So,
you know what? I'm proud to say I've never seen either one of those shows.
And that's why you're mentally healthy now, Ed. You see, so this is good. So, Ed, I love that tip about the white bottom, because what I used to do was to put white flat pond stones from Lowe's and cover the bottom. But you have to take them out to get the fish. I brought a prop. Can I bring a prop to add to your great idea?
Sure.
So what I do, my friends say I'm ad nauseum about this. This is the net. If you do tubbing, you have to get this net, and it's great for the fish room. This is from Hagen. This is the Laguna Pond Net from Hagen.
Oh, wow.
Now, what this is,
I like that.
This is from their Laguna line. This is an aluminum handle. Because when you try to use a fish net, plastic handle or wire in the tub, you know what happens. It breaks and bends. This won't break. Furthermore, it has a low drag. The holes are just the right size that you can go through your tub quickly. But then little bits of algae get stuck and the fry stay there. I use this in the fish room too. And what's great, you can lean it right on top of a small tub and you have a holding net, you see, because it's a stiff handle. This is
Laguna?
like a Laguna brand. It's made by Hagen Pond Net, and not the one that is extendable. It's only this big. It's a hand net. This is its size.
I like that.
It's
That'd
about
be perfect
$15.
for collecting.
It is my go-to. Outside, I swear by this net. And for taking out frying fish, or even in the middle of the summer, if I want to sweep a take of dragonfly larvae, I can go. I make the famous Rosario LaCourte figure 8 through the tank, get them all. Tadpoles, get them all, put them on the ground. Very good, very low drag. So that
Who's
is
it
my
made by again?
Hagen. And
Hagen.
it's their Hagen's pond line is called Laguna. Now, the cheapest place to get any pond supplies, in my opinion, is Webb's Water Gardens online. WEBB''S. You can join. You get 10% off as soon as you join. You get points, and they sell stuff, especially in the off season, at a deep discount. So that's where I get a lot of my pots, my fertilizers, and my nets. I get a lot of stuff from them. So Webb's is a good source if you want to look for something and save some bucks.
I am not
That's
seeing
awesome.
the short handle one.
Yeah,
And
the short handle one.
That would be perfect for collecting fish too. If you are out
Yes.
collecting,
It's a really good, because it's kind of wide, right? It's about 12 inches wide. I'll put it next to my face. Sorry. I know the net looks a lot better than my face. And it's a go-to. I have about 6 of them. I have one in my fish room. I keep one in my car, Ed, like you just said, for dip netting. And I keep them around my tubs. It's about $15-20. It's very durable. And that is a go-to. And I brought a whole bunch of other props if questions come up, to show you.
I've got a question, and this is I think we gave some bad information. I don't know if it was last week or the week before.
There's
but
no bad information in this hobby. There's just different information.
Well, it was on mosquito dips.
Oh,
or dunks.
mosquito dunks. I buy the big.
Now,
yeah, there you go.
oh wow. Well, I bought this 5 years ago. It was like buy one get one free at
Still good.
Tractor Supply. But
It's
I
still
prefer
good.
to keep my mosquitoes in there because I want my
Fish to eat them.
fish to eat them.
Yeah.
So, but I did it the first year, and I was I gave out this information that it made it so the larva didn't grow, but it actually kills them, right?
Well, yeah.
From
So
what
what
I've
it
read.
does, that is Bacillus thuringiensis israeliensis. I'm getting the names wrong. It is what it does is they digest it. The larvae digest the particles, and it literally explodes their stomachs. So that it takes care of, and it's only specific towards mosquitoes. It won't harm your fish. It won't harm other insects in your tub, and you
That's
can
what I
buy
was
a.
hoping
You,
it would.
well, yes, no, there's something else for that. I buy them in the pack on Amazon for like $1 each, and if
Wow.
you have a tub, you only need half of one. You break them in half for your big stock tank, but for a smaller round tub, you only need a quarter of one, once per month, and that is the dosing. But frankly, like Ed, you said you want them for your fish. One of the complaints people get is, "Oh, you have a pond. Are you gonna grow mosquitoes?" So you always get that one neighbor who doesn't like it. Here's the whole thing about this: a female mosquito, guys, has so many eggs to lay each night. If she doesn't have a tub pond to lay them in, she's going to lay them in every gutter in your neighborhood because there's always standing water in those things. And that's where most of them breed. She prefers a standing tub or a standing pond because there's nutrients for her fry. If she lays eggs, if she lays those set number of eggs that night in my tub pond, those mosquitoes are never going to fly, right? So you're actually controlling mosquitoes in your neighborhood by having a tub pond with fish.
Zenny wants to know if that's the right one.
Nice.
Yes, that is it. That's it.
I wish I could zoom in on it, but that's awesome. Thank you, Zen, for popping that up for me.
But if you want just an extra boost, if people are anxious, if you have fish that aren't, if you're keeping gudgeons or something like that, or cories in your tub, and you're afraid some of the larvae are going to escape them, you can supplement with those mosquito dunks. And, that's not such a bad idea. But frankly, your fish are going to eat the mosquitoes as egg rafts even before they turn into larvae. I mean, when like it's morning, it's like breakfast, and they just devour them. Especially rice fish, paradise fish, Danios go nuts. One Danio will clean your entire tub of any mosquito egg rafts that you have. So
I always give the mosquitoes about a 5-day head start, and it's so much fun to watch the fish destroy them.
Yes, it's great, isn't it? It's so you're absolutely right, Ed. It's so satisfying. And look, we actually drank so much saying the word summer. Whip is passed out. Can you wake him up off the floor there, Skip? I think he's on the floor now.
Refilling.
Whip, get up!
Oh my gosh,
he's doing
something.
We
only have 7 more minutes.
But there's a question about summer tubbing from Budget Bonsai.
I can go on as long as you want, by the way. So don't worry about it.
He asked with a super chat of $20, what is the easiest tub to set up this weekend? So he's probably going to send you $20, Ed.
Well, there's.
I got some hot sauce from him, and it was delicious. Sorry.
Thank you, Bonzo. Yeah, he has a very neat stream as well. By the way, he's kind of like a Renaissance man. He has a lot of different talents.
Oh my gosh, he is.
Yeah.
He is.
The easiest tub to set. So because the easiest, I'm going to say cheapest, right? Which one do you want to do? The easiest tub, go to Tractor that you can get, that you don't have to special order. Go to Tractor Supply, buy the 40-gallon stock tank. That is wide enough to keep a variety of fish, even in full sun. It's not that expensive. You can keep it in full sun, and you can set up with a small water lily and some marginal plants that's in my book, and you're good to go. The big thing with tubbing is location, right? Depending if you're going to be in full sun or shade. The first chapter of my book is called Location, because finding the microclimate and the location on your property, or even on your window, if you're living in an apartment, you can do this too. or on your patio will dictate the type of tub and the type of plants that you can keep, right? So in a tub in full sun, I want a tub where the surface area, the actual diameter, is greater than the depth. When the surface area is greater than the depth, you'll have adequate gas exchange. And again, I use no filters in my tub. I use no aerators. I use no fountains. My rule of thumb with the tub is try to ensure that the length is greater than the depth. I've had tubs go well into the 90 degrees, and I've had 2 species of fish still spawning in that tub, none the worse for wear. But a standard rope handle ice bucket muck tub, those are cheap. You can get those for $15, $10, but I wouldn't put them in full sun all day because they're deeper than they are wide. I would put them in an area that gets morning sun, maybe a break in the afternoon when the sun hits a tree line, and something like that situation, or as a more dappled sun. So you really got to get out in the morning and see where your sun arcs and see how much light, because the power of the sun, this is the whole thing about tubbing. And if I can make one point here, this is why it's so great. When you're in the fish room, guys, right, you're Mother Nature, right? You're controlling the light, and you're making the light go on and off like that. Doesn't happen in nature. You're controlling the heat, which is constant, which does not happen in nature. You're controlling the water changes. Mother Nature doesn't do water changes like that. You're controlling the tank size. You're controlling the feeding. You are making a laboratory control condition. Your fish have not evolved to that. They have adapted to that. When you're outside, you're not in charge anymore. Mother Nature's in charge. So when that sun comes up in the morning and starts to arc with blue light, that's going to set the circadian rhythm of your fish and your plants and you. It's very good for you to go out in the morning like that. That blue light is the first spectrum that hits. That sets off a natural metabolic process that all those life forms in your tub, from the microscopic to your fish, your plants, have evolved to perform with and behave to and react to. So that sun is going to arc. When it goes to the top, you'll have white light. It's going to arc again. Your pH will change during the day. Your temperature will change. You'll have a lot of live foods. This is the natural way your fish have evolved and your plants have evolved. That's why they do better. That's why they're more colorful. That's why they breed easier outside. So that would be my evangelical philosophical statement tonight in a very long-winded way.
I accidentally dropped. Next thing I was going to bring up was I just read that, you were talking about how some tubs that people buy, the plastics are bad.
Yeah, I lost rainbow fish one year. I was in Lowe's about 20 years ago, and they had these beautiful plastic planters, right, that look like faux whiskey barrels. They were cheap. Bought a whole bunch of them.
I bought those too.
Yeah, you bought. So rainbow fish are so easy outside when they don't jump. So I would take water hyacinth, which is a floating, spawning mop and flower, move the water hyacinth from the big adult 100-gallon tub into these little small tubs. Well, the rainbow fish fry would hatch out in 10 days. I'd lose them after like 30 days. I kept doing this. I'm like, what's going on? I'm walking through Lowe's later in the summer, and I'm smelling this. What is this smell? It was the plastic. I realized I'm smelling those same tubs I bought earlier in the year. I'm smelling the plastic. I turn it upside down. It doesn't have the number that say it's safe plastic. So in my book, there is a chart that shows the symbols that should be on your plastic to means it's safe for fish. And it's not just safe for fish. So again, adult fish might be fine, but just like with people, it's the fry, the microorganisms, and the general off-gassing and chemicals that are in that plastic. So you want to look for a number 5 plastic in general is what you want to go for. Or a dedicated agricultural stock tank, that's food grade safe, or a dedicated patio pond. My favorite tub pond, if I can recommend, is the 34-gallon Beckett patio pond. It's sold. Home Depot used to have it on the shelf for $30. You have to go to Home Depot. If you can show that on the screen, you're more than welcome to. It's the 34-gallon patio pond from Home Depot. It's now $70. It lasts forever, I find. It has 3 shelves. It has pockets in between the shelves for both short, shallow water plants and deep plants, and a section in the middle for a water lily. It's 40 inches wide, and it looks good. And that's the key. If you have a significant other, if your goal is to get more tubs, your goal is, so you want to make it look decent. So these patio ponds, about half my tubs is that design. I've bred so many fish in those ponds and had so many plants. That's my favorite one.
Well, you mentioned here that you could buy the liquid rubber.
Yeah, you could buy liquid rubber.
Well,
you could buy another pond epoxy.
They sell white liquid rubber. So if you don't want to try, you could use white
That's a great
liquid
idea.
rubber. But we got to find out, we got to make sure that we get liquid rubber that's safe.
Right.
But once we figure that out.
Because Flex Seal, sometimes they say it's safe and then they change the formulation and it's not safe.
Oh, that would be bad.
So you have to look for pure liquid rubber. It's a little expensive.
I got a question for you.
Yep. There it is.
What about galvanized?
So galvanized is tricky. I've had people, including Charles Clapsaddle down in Goliad Farms, lose fish putting him in galvanized tubs. Some fish are more sensitive to the metals. If I had a galvanized tub, I would coat it. I'd put I'd put a
rubber coat in it.
Yeah, and Ed, that liquid rubber goes on like paint. It's really thin. It's very easy to slap that on. And if you said they have white, that would be awesome. You just have to make sure there's no VOCs in there.
Well, you know what? We should probably do the giveaway so that way we can get ready to wrap this up because we got to go to WIP.
We do have to go to WIP.
Thank you.
Skip is like, this guy from New Jersey is so obnoxious. Can we please go to WIP's World now?
No, there were so many things that we could talk about. Like I wanted to talk about my Tennessee tree frogs. I get these little tree frogs that are super cute.
So do I.
But they're super toxic for the fish, and all my fry will die. This is what they look like. They're smaller than my pinky nail.
Yeah, I go out every night, and mine.
Giveaway.
My tree frogs treat my tub area like Hugh Hefner's grotto. I feel like I should put Barry White music on at night. They're just out there doing their thing. So, I tend to go out each night and just catch them and relocate them.
I go out in the morning and collect their eggs.
Yeah, I do that too. And Ed, the other reason you want to do that is you don't want them to outcompete for food and add to the dissolved organic compounds to your tub. You're looking for clean water.
Yeah. I mean, they were so cute. Like, here's another image of them. They're super cute. And I have given up on. I've had cages, netting. I've had all sorts of things to. And you know what?
It's not going to work.
It distracts. It just distracts from the beauty. So
there's
I don't do it. I just have them out, and if I have a few dragonfly nymphs at the end of the year, I've never had more than 6 in one of my tubs.
No, people get a little too. I mean, if you're worried about dragonfly, you can use Microlifts Pond and Anchorworm Control, which is a chitin inhibitor, and I discovered many years ago it works on dragonfly too. But if you get it, but to me, what I like to do is I do a midsummer sweep of my tubs. I take out any tadpoles, I take out any dragonfly, use that Laguna pond net that I just showed you, and have a nice day.
All right, we got to do this giveaway.
Okay. All right.
So it's going to be a 3-spin. The third spin's the winner.
Okay, so the first 2 is the runner-up loser, and then the second one is the ultimate loser, and then the third one's the ultimate winner.
Ultimate winner. Okay. Here we go.
I hope a blue guy wins.
Oh, sorry, Jody.
Jody,
you're the runner-up loser. That's what you get for not making cake.
This is what you get, Jody, for not making cake. But we love you anyway.
She's probably in bed by now anyway.
Oh, another green. Oh, that was you, Skipper.
Already
You're the
got
ultimate loser.
Wow, what a way to say thank you to the
Oh.
guy who does all the work. That's
what a dick.
What a
Speaking of that,
dick.
I have a
my God.
I have
What
a
a bad
PSA
boss you have,
tonight.
Skip. Here we go.
Passing wind is the winner.
Oh, awesome passing win.
Well, there
That's
we
awesome.
go. There we
So,
go.
passing win. If
No
you
better
can send
handle.
your, yeah, that's awesome. Send your address to either Skip or Whip, and they'll send it to me, and I will just order it directly on Amazon and send it to you that way.
Well, thank you,
And-
Ed. That's very kind of you.
We have. Oh, thank you. And let me see. I'm going to remove this, and we have a PSA today.
Go
And
Wait a
for
this
it.
minute, before
one-
you go, Ed, before you go, just real quick, Foxy
Yes.
said check the groomsman chat that she asked a question for you.
For
But
the
I
show.
can't even. But I can't even. I have no idea. But I can't even find the groomsman chat, so I'm not sure it went through. I'm not even sure if it's still an active thing.
Mm.
Oh no, I just dropped it. Let's see. Okay, I don't think it's amazingly important because it's not in my top 10. But we'll do that, I promise. Okay, so my PSA this week is to Skipper again. Thank you, Skipper, for all your support for the show and everything. And here we go.
Who told Skipper it was an all-terrain vehicle? Oh no. I had cat treats in one of those suitcases.
Thank you, Skipper, for being awesome.
Yes.
It is awesome.
And
Dr.
did
Ted?
you get your truck out?
If you have another hour to kill, feel free to click the link in the private chat, and we'll do this another hour. If you don't, no worries.
You mean under? You mean that's StreamYard link? Sure, I can do that.
Yeah.
And
Should
I'd
I
like to
click
thank
on
the
it now
mod.
or?
Well, you wait till the
Still
show.
alive.
Yeah, we're still live.
I can't get
All right.
I can't get my mouse over to the thing.
We are all right. I'm in that studio now, so that's okay.
I think my mouse just stopped. There it goes. Okay, so I wanted to thank the mods. You guys did an
Skipper,
amazing
fix
job
it.
tonight. Thank you for all the memberships, guys. I really appreciate that a lot. Thanks a ton. And thank you, Whip and Skip, for being awesome co-hosts. Dr. Ted, you were awesome. Oh, I was going to ask you what type of doctor you are. Unless you don't want to say.
I am a former I'm a former psychologist.
Oh, that's what we were betting.
And
There
we-
you
Earlier.
go. So everyone, I
Please-
want you to have everyone, please have a good summer.
Awesome.
Have
We'll catch you all on the
have a
flip
good
side.
summer. There you go.